All right, chapter 13 of Chop Wood, Carry Water. My name is Mike Dokter. I am the coach of the women's high school basketball team for the House in Muskegon, Michigan. And look forward to reading chapter 13 with some thoughts and 14. If you like these videos, you're seeing it for the first time, you're not part of our team, no big deal. Thank you for watching. Please click the playlist below and go ahead and let us know, A, what you like, and B, see the other videos that we've made so far. It's got chapters 1 through 13 if you're watching this for the first time, and the other chapters will be coming as well. So all the book will be read throughout the course of time. So this is chapter 13, Insta Everything. Insta Everything. Another year passed and John kept growing and learning. Every morning he chopped wood and every evening he carried water. His hands developed thick calluses, his arms grew stronger, and his movements became fluid and memorized as his brain wrapped intricate wires of muscle memory called myelin. One night during the summer, John and his sensei didn't find any games they wanted to watch on TV, so they decided on the new Karate Kid movie starring Jaden Smith. During a commercial break, Akira told John about his admiration for Jaden's father, Will. In an interview, he once heard Will say, "Talent you have naturally. Skill will only be developed by hours and hours and hours of beating on your craft." Will went on, "I have never considered myself particularly talented, but where I excel is ridiculous, sickening work ethic. There's no easy way around it. No matter how talented you are, your talent is going to fail if you are not skilled." John grew up watching reruns of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and he always considered Will Smith to be one of those talented people to whom everything just came naturally. He asked Akira, "So do you think someone like Will Smith really isn't that talented?" His sensei replied, "I think he might have plenty of talent, but I think his talent is overshadowed by his character. A wise man once told me talent without character is like an expensive fast car with no gas. It is useless without the fuel that drives it." John nodded and Akira went on, "And while I do not know what anyone is born with, I do know that none of us know our potential. In fact, I would argue that your potential is much greater than you ever realize, but it will take incredible dedication and purposeful training to unlock it. Most people never realize their potential because when things get hard or they experience failure, they just quit. Most people settle for average and what comes easy. They never give it their very, very, very best and exhaust themselves in order to protect their ego. They enjoy being able to say, 'I didn't even really try,' or 'I didn't really care.' Because if they did really give it their best and they still failed, that would be too much for their ego to handle." John felt like he had just uncovered some of the greatest secrets to success. I guess it makes sense now that you explain it like that, because with things like Instagram and YouTube, we only see the most edited, photoshopped version of people's lives. It feels like they wake up like that, but in reality, everything is staged. They took 50 pictures and highly edited the very best one. No one posts anything of them not looking their best. Akira nodded his approval. "Never forget, you do not shine under the bright lights. The bright lights only reveal your work in the dark. We get so used to seeing superstars on game day that we forget what we do not see. All the hours they spend beating on their craft, drenched in sweat at the point of exhaustion with no one watching. Too many people seek exposure from the bright lights, but the bright lights only expose their lack of faithfulness to their craft in the dark." So that was chapter 13. I love that chapter. Here's one of the things I'm going to read as well. Again, people enjoy being able to say, "I didn't even really try." This is huge when it comes to whatever you're doing, whether it's a test at school, whether it's a new drill, whatever it is. I want you to understand that as you're working with me, if you try and fail, that's perfectly okay. It is 100% acceptable. The only way we learn, like neurologically, the only way our brain learns how to do something is by screwing it up first. Then it makes all the little adjustments it needs to make in order for us to get better. So don't worry about failure. Don't be that person to say, "Oh yeah, well, I got a D on that test, but I really didn't try." No, you didn't study. That's what that means. When you say you didn't try, it means you didn't study. Don't be the person that does that. If we play a tough game and we lose and you only score a handful of points, don't be the person that says, "Well, I could have scored 20, but I didn't really try." No, you didn't prepare well enough in practice. You didn't work hard enough. You didn't put yourself in a position to win. that's an issue. That's where you need to understand that this is something that is very, very real. So the bright lights only expose the lack of faithfulness or the actual commitment to faithfulness in the dark. So we shine under the bright lights, not because the bright lights are on, but because of the fact that we prepared as well as we've prepared up until that point. All right, chapter 14, Wandering Eye. Wandering Eye. After that evening, John went to bed with a renewed sense of excitement to chop wood and carry water and beat on his craft. Over the next couple of months, he still had days that were more challenging than others, but overall, he was in a much better place. Eventually, though, John developed a wandering eye. One of the fellow apprentices, a young man named Katsuo, seemed to consistently be achieving things faster than John. His shots were stronger, more accurate, and he didn't complain or grow tired of his work. It seems like he was always doing everything better than John. And he wasn't the only one. John started looking at all of his friends and began to grow jealous of how easily things came to them and how hard things were for him. One day, John was walking to lunch when Akira came up beside him. "Why the heavy shoulders, John? It looks like something is really weighing on you." John sulked. "I've really been struggling the last few months because it just feels like it's not fair that I work so hard, yet other people who are more talented than me continue to surpass me with less effort. Do you know how embarrassing it is to be busting my butt every day and giving my everything to get better and it never feels good enough? I watch Katsuo give half the effort and he's still better than me. I just feel like I should quit and go home and get a normal job. Maybe becoming a samurai archer just isn't for me." Akira stopped, spun John around by his shoulders, and stared deep into his soul with his piercing gray eyes. "Let me tell you a story, John. When I was your age, I was last in my class at everything. I struggled. I wanted to quit. I was constantly embarrassed because I gave everything, but it never felt good enough." "So how did you get so good?" John said. "I never gave up. And I realized the whole time that I was building my own house." A sensei shared with me the very same story about Koda building his own house. And I realized that it wasn't about what I was doing, but rather about who I became. John, let me tell you two very important things. Comparison is the thief of all joy, and the grass isn't greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it. You've grown up in a society where things like social media and 24-hour television have established a culture that is hyper-focused on comparison. But if you are constantly comparing, you will have all the joy sucked out of you. You must focus on your journey and yours alone. If you don't, you not only risk losing your joy, but losing any chance of true success in the long run. Comparison is incredibly short-sighted, and if we focus only on the successes of others, we do it at our own expense. A great writer, Ernest Hemingway, once said that there's nothing noble about being superior to your fellow man. True nobility is being superior to your former self. The person who chops wood and carries water, no matter if up by 20 or down by 20 points, crushes the field in the long run. But more importantly, crushes the version of themselves that is just focused on winning. It's worthless comparing to others. The real comparison is to ourselves. Which philosophy, belief, or mindset is most beneficial to you over the long haul? Are you playing the short game or the long game? Compare yourself and measuring yourself compared only to your own potential, not that of your competition or your teammates. He continued stern. If it rains, bottle up water and sell it. If crap falls from the sky, package it and sell fertilizer. If it's sunny, plant a garden. Use what you and you alone have been given. You do not know what other people are going through and what they're struggling with. And everyone has their own unique struggles. Even Katsuo. Stop trying to live their life because there are millions of people who would give anything to live your life. Do you know that there are 1 billion people without access to clean drinking water and millions of people with debilitating diseases and accidents that have left them nearly paralyzed? John perked up and got tears in his eyes as he thought about his brother Jordan. He would give anything for the opportunity John was complaining about. I guess I get so distracted with the people who seemingly have more than me that I forgot about those with less than me, John said. You must always keep perspective, John. It's very easy to lose it. And when you lose perspective, you forget that this life is but a vapor. We are here today and gone tomorrow. Do not waste your life, John. Focus on what truly matters and do not fall for the lies of the comparison thief. I want you to do an exercise I do every morning in the shower that helps me shift from comparison to a heart posture of gratitude. I call it gratefulness meditation. I want you to sit down in the shower for 5 to 10 minutes every morning and start by thanking God for everything you can think of. I usually start with the little things that are so easy to take for granted, like clean drinking water and the ability to walk, talk, and feed myself. I even thank Him for all the doors He has closed in my life. Eventually, I just slip into a meditative state and try to observe my thoughts that fly through my mind without judging them. If I have a tough day, I will usually visualize whatever challenges are likely to arise, and then I see myself overcoming them and being at my very best. John had a puzzled look on his face. I know it sounds strange, but I've been doing this for over 3 decades and it works, said Akira. Okay, I promise to try it out for at least 2 weeks, and then I will let you know how it goes. All right, comparison is the thief of all joy. Do not compare yourself to others. Do not compare yourself to that person who's getting scouted by a Division I school. Do not compare yourself to somebody who has a better opportunity and better grades. Compare yourself only to your own potential and the best version of yourself, or what you believe is the best version of yourself. That's the only way you can measure true progress. I was at a game the other week where Fruitport played Spring Lake. I'm a Spring Lake fan. My kid goes to Spring Lake. Both my kids go to Spring Lake. They play different sports. But Fruitport lost that game by 25 points. And in the last 2 minutes of that game, when they were down by 20, they were as hyped and as excited and as intense as they had ever been the entire game. And I'll tell you what, when you can do that as a team and you have that same level of swagger, that's what makes you your most dangerous. That's what makes you your most intense. When you stop comparing yourself to other players if they're better than you and they're superior than you, and you focus only on your own execution and giving your very, 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 very best in every situation, that's how you learn and grow. So that was chapter 14, 15, and 16 on the way. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye now.